you find this. I know I can't expect anything from you. Not after what happened. After what I did. But I just want you to know that wasn't me. I don't know what happened. There's so much that you need to know.
There you are! You gave us quite a scare, young lady.
I can't let her catch me again.
While the faceless Ethan Winters was the protagonist of Resident Evil 7, his wife Mia was much more crucial to the game's story, and chances are, one way or another, she's going to continue to be important to the plot of the upcoming Resident Evil Village as well. So as we count down the days to the sequel's launch, here we're going to take a look back at the full story of Mia so far. Mia was married to Ethan for 3 years before she went missing in 2014, and though Ethan would only go on to be involved in the larger plot of the franchise another 3 years after that, Mia was already an important piece of the puzzle. A quick note before we move forward. Please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. And while you are at it, also please click like if you enjoyed this video. It really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's begin. In 2010, she became a research specialist of the Connections, a criminal syndicate that primarily dealt in experiments and creation of genetically engineered bioweapons. One such bioweapon was Evelyn. Though outwardly she seemed like an ordinary little girl, Evelyn was a successful E-type bioweapon capable of telepathic and psychokinetic abilities, as well as the ability to infect others around her. In 2014, Mia, along with Alan Droney, a fellow operative of the Connections, was given the mission to escort Evelyn to a facility in South America. They took on the cover of a family traveling in the tanker called the Annabelle, which, conveniently enough, seemed to fall in line with the fiction Evelyn was creating for herself in her head. For some reason, Evelyn was seeking out familial connections and attached values in line with that to the people around her, which meant she started looking at Mia as her mommy. During the voyage, though, Evelyn sort of flew off the handle. She attacked and killed Alan, started vomiting out massive amounts of mold, which would eventually take the shape of black gooey monsters known as the Molded, and infected the ship's crew. The Annabelle crashed into the bayous of Dulvey, Louisiana, and everyone on board, including Mia, was assumed dead. Ethan, who was under the impression that Mia was on another one of her jobs as a nanny, had no idea what actually happened to his wife. And what actually did happen to her? Well, while she was in the swamp, Mia was found by Jack Baker, a local man who lived in a nearby estate. Finding her injured and in mortal peril, Jack took Mia back to his estate with the intention of nursing her back to health with his family, his wife Marguerite, his daughter Zoe, and his son Lucas. Unfortunately, he brought along Evelyn as well, who looked to Jack like nothing more than a little girl in need of help.
All right, little girl, let's get you cleaned up.
They're mine now.
What?
Mia tried to warn Jack and his family about Evelyn but failed, and Evelyn went on to infect the Bakers as well, leading to psychotic and maddening changes in their personality while also filling their estate full of shambling Molded. Evelyn, meanwhile, inserted herself into their family in line with her cravings for familial connections, her accelerated aging turning her into a feeble old woman on a wheelchair in just 3 years. Over the course of these 3 years, she also drove the Bakers to horrible acts, including kidnapping, infecting, and killing a large number of local people, or people who were unfortunate enough to come into or close to the Baker estate. Meanwhile, the Bakers themselves were assumed dead as well. This continued for 3 years, from 2014 to 2017, but things changed not long afterward. Compelled to do so by Evelyn, who was probably looking for a new person to add to her family, Mia sent an email to Ethan telling him to come find her in the Baker residence in Dulvey. Ethan was obviously shocked to be hearing from his wife, who he'd believed to be dead for 3 years, and immediately set out for Dulvey to find her. It doesn't take long for Ethan to find Mia in a cell in the Baker's residence basement once he arrives, and though the two initially try to find a way out, things quickly go very, very wrong. The infection takes hold of Mia and she completely flies off the handle. She violently attacks Ethan, and going through multiple phases of oh no she's dead and oh no she's still alive, does everything from stab her husband through the hands with a knife and a screwdriver, take an axe to the throat, take multiple gunshots, and chop off Ethan's left arm while she tries to kill him with a chainsaw. Ultimately, Jack Baker arrives on the scene and knocks Ethan out. When Ethan wakes up with help from Zoe Baker, he begins piecing together what happened in the Baker residence and starts looking for a way out of the house, for a way to rescue Mia, and for a way to create a serum that can cure her. At the same time, Mia herself is trying to hide from the Bakers all around the estate, but eventually she's caught by Marguerite Baker. Ethan eventually manages to kill Marguerite, and he and Mia briefly reunite and have a conversation through a chain link fence, only for Lucas Baker to arrive on the scene and drag Mia away. Ethan eventually manages to catch up, finding her and Zoe at the estate's boathouse, and he brings with him the components needed to make the aforementioned serum. Zoe manages to create 2 samples of the serum, but Jack Baker attacks Ethan once again. In the fight that follows, Ethan is forced to use one of the serums on Jack to finally kill him once and for all. At this point, players as Ethan are given the choice to cure either Mia or Zoe, but canonically, Ethan obviously injects the serum into his wife. Ethan tells Zoe that he'll send help back for her, and he and Mia get on a boat and leave the estate. They don't get very far. They come across the wreckage of the Annabelle when they're out in the swamps and are attacked by the Molded. Both of them are thrown off the boat, while an unconscious Ethan is taken by the Molded and dragged deeper into the ship. As she traverses the ship looking for her husband, Mia finds a tissue sample of Evelyn, and then when she finally finds Ethan and rescues him, she hands him the tissue sample, locks herself in, and tells him to go back to the Baker residence and create a necrotoxin using the sample that will allow him to put Evelyn down for good. While Ethan is doing exactly what Mia asked of him, Mia herself is found and rescued by the forces of Blue Umbrella by a squad led by none other than Chris Redfield himself. Blue Umbrella then helps Ethan kill Evelyn, and then flies the husband and wife away from the scene on a chopper.
And what a long night it was. But not just for me. Mia and I weren't the only victims here. So were the Bakers. It was that thing, Evelyn, who made them that way. But now Evelyn's dead. And these guys are here to clean up the mess.
By the time Resident Evil Village kicks off, Ethan and Mia have been living a peaceful life together in a village in Eastern Europe for 3 years and even have a daughter together. But again, it doesn't take long for things to go wrong. If what we've seen in the game's trailers is to be believed, Chris Redfield arrives at their house, murders Mia, snatches their daughter, and leaves, kicking off another terrifying adventure for Ethan where he must rescue his kidnapped daughter. Of course, we can't help but wonder whether there's more to things than what's being shown. There probably is. Whether Mia is actually dead, and just what exactly has motivated Chris to take such drastic actions remains to be seen, and thankfully, with Resident Evil Village not far away now, we're going to find out all that and more very soon. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and we would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.